Welcome, true crime enthusiasts, to another chilling episode of Case Chronicles. Today, we delve deep into the harrowing saga of Richard Trenton Chase, a name that instills fear in the hearts of all who hear it. Chase, an American murderer, cannibal, and necrophile, haunted Sacramento, California from 1977 to 1978, leaving 6 victims in his wake. Known as the Vampire of Sacramento, he indulged in the most horrifying acts of cannibalism, even consuming the blood of his prey. Join us as we uncover the shocking truth behind his gruesome acts in Case Chronicles, Richard Trenton Chase. In a quaint town, Richard Trenton Chase was born on May 23, 1950. His parents, Mr. and Mrs. Chase, adored their curious son. As he grew, Richard's fascination with the macabre became apparent. Despite his darker interests, his magnetic personality attracted friends from all walks of life. He shared thrilling adventures with his brother Michael and was admired by his sister Emily. Little did anyone know that Richard's story would take a chilling turn, leading him down a path of infamy and terror. Troubled origins. During his early years, he grew up in a strict household, enduring frequent beatings from his father. As a teenager, he spiraled into alcoholism and developed disturbing tendencies like killing and mutilating animals, as well as setting fires. These behaviors were unfortunately common among serial killers during their youth. Chase had a few girlfriends in high school, but none of them stuck around because of his issues getting and keeping an erection. In addition, he discovered that being among women made it hard for him to get aroused. He sought therapy from a doctor, who indicated that his issues may be related to suppressed fury or mental illness. However, Chase did not pursue any further treatment following this diagnosis. It was later discovered that Chase had an aversion to conventional sexual activities and could only find arousal and gratification through violent or disturbed acts, such as killing animals and necrophilia. When Chase became an adult, he moved back in with his mother and claimed that she was trying to poison him. In reaction, his father bought him an apartment and made him leave the house. In his solitary new apartment, Chase began capturing, killing, and disemboweling various animals, consuming their raw flesh. To prevent his heart from shrinking, he concocted smoothies by blending the entrails of animals he had slain. Chase had a deep-seated fear that if his heart shrank too much, it would vanish, resulting in his demise. Descent into madness. In 1975, a chilling series of events unfolded, marking Richard Trenton Chase's descent into darkness. It began with his hospitalization for injecting himself with rabbit's blood, resulting in blood poisoning. Chase's time in the hospital took a sinister turn when he escaped to his mother's home, only to be apprehended and sent to an institution for the criminally insane. Within those walls, he openly shared disturbing fantasies of killing rabbits, earning the nickname Dracula after being found with blood around his mouth from violently killing 2 birds. Released in 1976, after undergoing psychotropic drug treatments, Chase was no longer considered a threat. However, his mother's decision to halt his anti-schizophrenic medication set off a chain of increasingly disturbing behaviors. Living in an apartment, Chase's dark inclinations intensified. He engaged in twisted rituals, torturing and drinking the blood of innocent animals, including neighbors' pets. He fixated on firearms and connected the crimes of the Hillside Strangler to a conspiracy targeting him. As Chase spiraled deeper into darkness, his personal hygiene deteriorated and he neglected self-care. His weight plummeted to a mere 145 pounds, reflecting his physical and mental decay. In 1977, Chase shocked his mother by presenting her with a dead cat and callously tearing it apart, smearing its blood on his face. Astonishingly, his mother remained unfazed and retreated without a word. On August 3, 1977, Nevada State Police discovered Chase's abandoned vehicle containing rifles, blood-soaked clothing, and a grotesque bucket filled with blood and a cow's liver. Eventually locating Chase, they found him naked and covered in blood, screaming amidst the desolate sands, claiming the blood was seeping through his flesh. The nightmare continued on December 27, 1977, when Chase terrorized a woman in Sacramento, firing shots at her home with a .22 handgun. Thankfully, no one was harmed, but a bullet lodged in the kitchen served as disturbing evidence. Richard Trenton Chase's descent into darkness in 1975, from injecting rabbit's blood to committing horrifying acts, culminated in a state of madness and terror that left a lasting mark on those who encountered his disturbing presence. Richard Chase's first murder victim. The horrifying crime wave that terrorized Sacramento began on December 29, 1977. Ambrose Griffin, a 51-year-old engineer and father of two, regrettably died in a drive-by gunshot as the first casualty of this massacre. Surprisingly, the murderer had more nasty intentions in mind, and this was merely a warm-up for them. Ballistics testing disqualified the neighbor's rifle from being the murder weapon, despite Griffin's kid reporting seeing the neighbor with a .22 rifle earlier that week. However, it was later discovered that the same .22 rifle was used to fire a bullet into the kitchen of a Sacramento woman just 2 days prior to Griffin's murder. Richard Chase's second murder. Richard Chase's insatiable thirst for blood and violence spiraled out of control. His first murder was just the beginning. He forcefully demanded a pack of cigarettes from his neighbor and then attempted to invade another woman's home, only to be thwarted by locked doors. Even a former classmate refused him a ride due to his horrifying appearance. But Chase's dark journey continued. He stumbled upon David and Teresa Wallen's unlocked front door. Teresa was home, alone, unsuspecting. In a gruesome act, he shot her 3 times, ending her life. He desecrated her body, raping it post-mortem and stabbing it repeatedly with a butcher knife. Blood filled a bucket as he savagely bathed in it. He went as far as slicing off her nipple and using an empty yogurt container to drink her blood. Before departing, he stuffed dog feces into her mouth and throat. Richard Chase's third murder. On a chilling winter night, January 23, 1978, just 2 days after the lifeless body of Teresa Wallen lay cold, Richard Chase embarked on a sinister errand. A neighbor unsuspectingly sold him 2 innocent puppies, little souls that would soon become victims of his twisted desires. Darkness cloaked his actions as he mercilessly ended their lives, relishing in the taste of their blood, and brazenly left their motionless bodies on the neighbor's front lawn, a haunting display of his malevolence. But Chase's thirst for violence and depravity was far from quenched. 4 days later, his sinister saga reached its ghastly climax, a grotesque act that would forever stain the annals of history. He prowled the home of Evelyn Miroth, a 38-year-old woman entrusted with the care of her tender 22-month-old nephew, David. Within those walls, innocence and tranquility turned into nightmares. As the evening unfolded, Dan Meredith, a concerned neighbor, stepped into the scene of impending horror. His intentions pure and his fate sealed. Chase materialized, wielding his dreaded .22 handgun, and in an instant, Dan's life was snuffed out, extinguished by a point-blank bullet to the head, a single shot that echoed through the halls, sealing the doom of those present. In a heartbreaking turn of events, Jason, Evelyn's precious 6-year-old son, sought refuge in his mother's bedroom, a futile attempt to escape the clutches of imminent doom, but Chase's wrath was relentless. Swiftly and mercilessly, he unleashed the horror, unleashing bullets that shattered innocence. The echoes of those fatal shots resonated, forever etching their way into the deepest recesses of our nightmares. No room remained untouched by Chase's perverse savagery. He invaded the sanctuary of the bathroom, where Evelyn, unaware of the malevolence lurking, sought solace in the bath's embrace. It was there, in that vulnerable moment, that her life was extinguished by a single bullet, forever silencing her existence. The bed, once a symbol of comfort and respite, became the stage for an unspeakable violation. Chase dragged Evelyn's lifeless body upon it, engaging in the unthinkable. A grotesque dance of degradation and bloodlust commenced. His blade sliced into her delicate flesh, a macabre symphony of destruction. The abomination unfolded as he devoured her blood, flowing from the wounds upon her neck, his appetite for carnage insatiable. With merciless precision, Chase further desecrated her remains. Each stab, each puncture, penetrated the fabric of sanity, releasing a deluge of life's essence. Her once vital organs, now lifeless, pooled in her abdomen. Seizing the moment, he meticulously sliced open her body, draining the crimson tide into a chilling receptacle, a bucket that bore witness to his unspeakable desires. Consuming every drop, he reveled in his abominable feast. David, a mere toddler robbed of his future, became the next target of Chase's unspeakable madness. The bathroom, transformed into a chamber of horrors, witnessed the brutal shattering of innocence. The sound of bone meeting steel resonated as his tiny skull was split open, offering a grim glimpse into the depths of depravity. Yet fate intervened. A knock on the door shattered the tenuous balance between Chase and his blood-soaked deeds. A young girl, oblivious to the horrors that unfolded within, delivered an unintentional reprieve. Startled, Chase abandoned his dark sanctuary, his escape facilitated by stolen wheels. The girl's innocent presence birthed the harbinger of justice, as she alerted a vigilant neighbor who would uncover the unspeakable truth. Inside the Miroth home, a tableau of terror awaited those who dared enter. Authorities, met with a chilling sight, bore witness to a tapestry of brutality. Perfectly imprinted handprints and shoe soles, seared into Evelyn's blood, offered a haunting testament to Chase's macabre artistry. Investigation. After the Wallen murder, FBI agents Russ Vorpagel and Robert Ressler were called in to investigate. They created a profile of the killer, determining that he would be tall, undernourished, a loner, physically unclean, and most importantly, likely to continue killing. 5 days later, Nancy Holden contacted the police, expressing her belief that Richard Chase could be the killer. The police conducted a background check on Chase and discovered that he owned a .22 caliber semi-automatic pistol. Detectives and a team of police officers went to Chase's apartment to speak with him. Chase refused to cooperate, so the detectives and police officers hid down the hallway and waited for him to leave. They arrested Chase when he exited the apartment, carrying a box stained with blood, along with a blood-stained parka and shoes. Inside the box, they found shreds of wallpaper soaked in blood and the blood-stained .22 pistol, which he had used to commit the murders. Chase tried to explain that the blood was from killing several dogs. During a search of Chase's person, the police discovered Dan Meredith's wallet in his possession. The detectives, along with Ressler and Vorpagel, conducted a search of Chase's apartment. They found blood-soaked walls, floors, ceilings, refrigerators, and all of Chase's eating and drinking utensils. On the counter, they found a blender that Chase used for making smoothies, covered in coagulated blood and decomposing internal organs. Inside the refrigerator, police discovered various animal body parts wrapped in foil, David's brain stored in a Tupperware container, and portions of Evelyn Miroth and Teresa Wallen's internal organs. Several pet collars were found on another counter, and on Chase's kitchen table, there were multiple diagrams depicting different aspects of human biology. Conviction. After the killings, Richard Chase stood trial in 1979, facing 6 murder charges. His defense sought a conviction of second-degree murder, arguing that his mental illness and lack of premeditation indicated a lesser degree of guilt. On May 8th, the jury found Chase guilty on all 6 counts of first-degree murder, despite the defense's plea for clemency. The judge deemed Chase not legally insane. As a result, Chase received a death sentence in the gas chamber. In prison, Chase became a feared figure among fellow inmates, who were aware of the disturbing nature of his crimes. Some prisoners even attempted to persuade him to take his own life, too afraid to approach him themselves. During his incarceration, Chase had a series of interviews with Robert Ressler, where he discussed his fears of Nazis and UFOs, insisting that his killings were not his fault. He sought Ressler's help in obtaining a radar gun to capture the Nazi UFOs and bring them to trial for the murders. Additionally, Chase gave Ressler a significant stash of macaroni and cheese, which he had been hoarding in his pockets, as he believed prison officials were colluding with the Nazis to poison him. On December 26, 1980, during a routine cell check, a guard discovered Chase lying unresponsive in an unnatural position on his bed. An autopsy later confirmed that Chase had taken his own life by overdosing on antidepressants prescribed by the prison doctor, which he had been saving for several weeks. As we conclude the Richard Trenton Chase case, we're captivated and disturbed by the chilling saga of this notorious serial killer. Reflecting on Chase's dark legacy, it's crucial to acknowledge the lasting impact on the victims and their families. Let us remember their names and honor their memory, for they're the true heroes of this story. Now, dear true crime enthusiasts, let's delve into your thoughts on this bone-chilling case. What factors led to Chase's descent into madness? How can society better identify and intervene with individuals with violent tendencies? And, most importantly, how can we ensure the victims are never forgotten? Join us next time for another harrowing tale. Until then, stay tuned. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell to stay updated on our latest investigations. Share your theories, insights, and thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for joining us.